Poveglia Island in Italy. This small island has a dark and tragic history, and it's often cited as one of the most haunted places in the world. During the bubonic plague outbreaks in the 14th and 17th centuries, Poveglia served as a quarantine station. It was a place where the sick and dying were brought, many of whom never left the island alive. The island became a mass burial ground for plague victims, contributing to its grim reputation. In the 1920s, the island was home to a mental asylum. Patients were reportedly subjected to cruel treatments and experiments. The asylum operated until 1968, and the ruins of the hospital and its buildings still stand on the island. There are legends of a doctor who performed experiments on patients and later threw himself from the asylum's bell tower, either driven by madness or haunted by ghosts. The bell tower, even though the bell was removed long ago, is said to be heard ringing on quiet nights. Visitors often report an overwhelming sense of dread upon setting foot on the island. There are claims of seeing apparitions, possibly of former plague victims or asylum patients. The island's atmosphere is frequently described as heavy and foreboding. People have reported hearing disembodied voices, screams, and moans, which are thought to be echoes of the suffering endured by the island's former occupants. The sounds of weeping and pleading are sometimes heard, particularly near the old hospital and burial pits. The ruins of the mental asylum are a hotspot for reported ghost sightings. Visitors claim to see shadowy figures and feel unseen presences. Some have reported being touched or pushed by invisible forces while exploring the asylum. The Italian government has forbidden public access to Poveglia, adding to its mysterious allure. Only a few have been granted permission to visit, usually for historical or paranormal investigations. Paranormal investigators who have visited the island often describe it as one of the most intensely haunted locations they've ever experienced. Locals tend to avoid Poveglia Island, with fishermen steering clear of its waters for fear of catching human remains in their nets. The combination of its tragic history as a plague burial site and a mental asylum, along with numerous reports of paranormal phenomena, makes Poveglia Island a particularly haunting location. Its isolation and the prohibition against visitors only add to its mystique and eerie reputation. Built in 1885, the Monte Cristo homestead located in Juni, a small town in the Riverina region of New South Wales, Australia, was constructed in 1885 by Christopher William Crawley, a prosperous local businessman. The Crawley family lived in the house until 1948. During their residence, they were influential figures in the Juni community. The history of the homestead is marked by several tragic events, including untimely deaths and accidents, which are believed to contribute to its haunted status. One of the most heartrending tragedies associated with the homestead is the death of a young child. According to reports, the child was dropped down the staircase by a maid, resulting in fatal injuries. This incident is said to have left a lasting paranormal imprint on the property, with many claiming to have seen the ghost of the child near the staircase. In another tragic event, a maid is believed to have died after falling from the balcony of the homestead. There are different versions of the story. Some suggest it was an accident, while others imply that there might have been foul play involved. Her spirit is said to be one of the many that haunt the property, particularly in the area around the balcony. A young stable boy reportedly died on the property in a fire. It's believed that he burned to death while sleeping in his straw bed. This tragic event has led to reports of ghostly sightings and unexplained phenomena in the stables and surrounding areas. Harold Steele, a mentally disabled man, was the son of the homestead's caretaker. According to reports, he was kept chained up in the caretaker's cottage for most of his life. His death, under unclear circumstances, is another event that has contributed to the eerie lore surrounding the property. After her husband's death, Mrs. Crawley, the matriarch of the homestead, became a recluse and spent the remaining 23 years of her life largely confined to the house. Her death, although not violent, is surrounded by stories of her lingering presence in the homestead, contributing to its haunted reputation. Apart from these major tragedies, there have been reports of other deaths and accidents over the years, contributing to the homestead's eerie atmosphere and stories of hauntings. Many have claimed to feel the presence of Mrs. Crawley, who was known for her strict and dominating personality. Reports include sightings of her apparition and a sense of being watched. The ghost of a young boy who reportedly died after being dropped down the stairs is said to be seen and heard around the staircase. A maid who fell to her death from the balcony is also believed to haunt the homestead, with sightings reported on the balcony. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported various phenomena such as unexplained cold spots, ghostly whispers, and footsteps. Some have experienced a sense of unease, sudden emotional changes, or felt unseen presences. Paranormal investigators have recorded EVPs within the homestead, further fueling its reputation as a haunted site. The combination of its historical significance, the tragic events associated with the property, and the numerous reports of paranormal activity make the Monte Cristo homestead a fascinating location for those interested in Australia's haunted history. Its restoration and maintenance as a historical site allow visitors to experience both its physical beauty and eerie atmosphere. The ancient Ram Inn, located in Watton-under-Edge, Gloucestershire, England, has a rich and fascinating history that contributes to its reputation as a haunted location. The inn was originally constructed in 1145. It was believed to have been established as a dwelling for the builders of St. Mary's Church, which is situated nearby. For a significant period of its early history, the building served as a home for priests associated with St. Mary's Church. Over the centuries, the building transitioned from a religious dwelling to a public house. It served as an inn for travelers, gaining the name the Ram Inn. Its location in Watton-under-Edge, an old market town, made it a convenient stop for travelers and traders. A notable aspect of its history is the claim that it is located on the intersection of two ley lines, which are believed by some to be spiritual energy lines that crisscross the earth. Legend has it that the inn was built on an ancient pagan burial ground, which some believe is the source of the paranormal activity experienced there. The inn is a popular site for ghost hunters and paranormal investigators, drawn by its long history and numerous ghost stories. Numerous guests have reported feeling an oppressive atmosphere in the bishop's room, often described as the most haunted part of the inn. Visitors have recounted being pushed or pulled by unseen forces in this room. Some have heard unexplained noises like footsteps and whispers, and even felt sudden drops in temperature. The ghost of a former innkeeper known as John Humphreys has reportedly been seen wandering the premises. A spectral image of a young girl, thought to have been murdered in the inn, has been sighted by several visitors. There have been claims of seeing a high priest's spirit possibly linked to the inn's location on ancient ley lines. Guests have reported feeling sudden intense emotions, such as sadness or dread, particularly in certain rooms like the barn and the weaver's attic. Some visitors have experienced physical discomfort such as nausea or dizziness, often attributed to the intense paranormal energy within the inn. Paranormal investigation teams have recorded unexplained electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, and captured orbs and other anomalies in photographs. Investigators have used various equipment to detect unusual magnetic fields and temperature fluctuations, often considered indicators of paranormal presence. Former owner John Humphreys, who lived in the inn until his death, shared numerous personal experiences, including being grabbed by invisible hands and witnessing objects moving on their own. Visitors have shared stories of uneasy feelings, sudden chills, and even seeing ghostly figures in their photographs after leaving the inn. These experiences, while subjective and often lacking scientific explanation, have cemented the ancient Ram Inn's status as a fascinating and eerie location for those interested in the paranormal and supernatural phenomena. The combination of its historical background, the numerous personal accounts, and the results of various paranormal investigations make it a unique and intriguing destination for ghost hunters and enthusiasts. Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories.